Hello and good morning. Welcome to Matcha Mornings with Diane. I am your host, Diane. I am a dancer, performing artist based in New York City, and welcome to my podcast where I talk about all things mindfulness, life in New York as a performing artist, creativity, art, and everything in between. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my podcast. Hello, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Matcha Mornings with Diane. Today, I wanted to talk about the word audacity. I feel like this is something that I am trying to channel more and try to live by, especially as someone who was really addicted to this self-help and self-improvement loop that I feel like sometimes I forget that a big part of creating the life that I truly want for myself is to really have the audacity to show up even when I'm not perfect, even when I'm not, feeling 100%, even when I'm scared. Because I feel like we all have those days, but, it does take a lot of courage and character to truly believe in our own worth without tying it to our mood for the day and without tying it to a certain outcome. I know for myself that for the many things that I have achieved in my life, especially in just the past year alone, it really came from just being audacious enough to go for it and not even overthink it. And I think this is something that not a lot of people talk about, and it's definitely something that is something that you can't just fully explain, and it's not logical. We always talk about like working hard and having the talent. Like, of course, those are like really important. But if you're like me, very type A, and you may have gotten stuck in this vicious cycle of always improving and always healing and always feeling like there is something to be fixed, it almost feels like we are shielding ourselves from the opportunities and the blessings that can just really flow into our lives. And a big part of it is really just being brave enough to step out of that cycle and trust that the work that you have done for a short period of time will pay off and that you already have it. And all you need to do is really get out there and apply it. I really think about this specific thing this year that I think I had the audacity to really just go for it. And it also kind of came as a surprise to me. And sometimes I am still in disbelief whenever I think back on this. I was actually recently featured on Dance Magazine on the September issue. And this actually came from just my audacity to be able to pitch my story as an artist. And I will tell you guys that even doing that took a lot from me. It took a lot of, just really getting out of like my head and convincing myself that I'm not good enough and having that imposter syndrome that I don't think I'm successful enough yet to be featured. Or again, it feels like I was definitely comparing my journey to, all of these dancers that I have seen growing up and the people who surround me. And of course, like maybe there was a part of me that felt a little discouraged, or again, like there was that imposter syndrome of feeling like I don't think I'm good enough yet to even pitch something because what have I achieved professionally? And actually, I have achieved a lot. It's just, again, I think there was like that part of me, and that part of me that loved to always fix and felt like she had to be quote unquote perfect before she can do certain things, that kept me stuck. And yeah, eventually I asked the help of a lovely friend of mine to, yeah, just really help me out with this pitch. And, I'm just so thankful too that she was there to encourage me to just go for it, because truly, yeah, you never know. You never know. And I'm glad that I had the audacity to pitch my story and truly believe in my own journey and my story, that it is worth telling, and that the person that I am today is worthy of being seen for who she is. And I just really needed to have that confidence in knowing that I do have a story to tell. And yes, like I may not be where I want to be yet in my journey. And I feel like in life, there will be no finish line until we pass. And so, yeah, I think, I have been dancing my whole life, and I knew that I already had something to tell. And I guess like a big part of it was also just not expecting so much in return. But I think just the idea of being able to put myself out there, like that action alone was more than enough. And so, yeah, lo and behold, I ended up getting featured. Like, if I did not send that pitch, then, I wouldn't even have had that opportunity. And so, yeah, I think I also just had to remind myself that, in life, yes, there are moments when we also have to learn how to receive, but that doesn't mean that we should wait for opportunities to just like magically, like fall into our laps. And yeah, it really depends. And it's all about like really listening to like that calm inner voice, and not our minds that normally would want to negotiate and think about all the worst case scenarios and the fears. So, yeah, I knew that there was something deep down that wanted to really also share who I am and how my journey in dance has been so different and so unique. So, yeah, I was like, I think that this is also something that could be inspiring. Like, it wasn't just for my own benefit. Like, I know being able to tell my story and having that shared on a huge platform would be a great deal for the magazine and, of course, like the readers. And yeah, like now I'm just really happy that I did that, and I think this can be applied in anything in life. And knowing just like how brave I've always been, and how my mom has always commended my courage, I do believe that the universe rewards our audacity. Sometimes we just really have to be so focused on ourselves to somewhat like even have these figurative blinders and low key and maybe even high key delusional. Because I think sometimes when we start to compare, it definitely dilutes the way that we see ourselves and our confidence. Like, yes, there is something to be said about inspiration, and, it's only human nature to want to compare. But I think ultimately, looking back now with the year that I had, I do know that being able to own and embrace myself, like my fullest self, my truest self, and my own journey has really given me the audacity to create the life that I truly want for myself, and to continue becoming the woman I am meant to become on earth. And yeah, to be able to have this fulfilling life. And so, yeah, like they say nowadays too, like it's true. Talent and hard work alone, they're not enough. You really need to have the audacity. And I believe that it is through our audacity that our truest selves come out, our most authentic selves come out. Because we are no longer clouded by these external sources. We're no longer clouded by, anything that is surrounding us, that we truly just end up listening to our core, the inner voice that wants us to win. And yeah, I think the people that we look up to, and this is something that I have also reflected on, and something that I still witness. I was like, yeah, the people that I truly look up to and the people who have already gone so far in their journeys, I believe that it is because they had the audacity to just take the action even when parts of them still do not believe that they are worth having the life that they truly want for themselves. And yeah, it does take a lot of practice. But yeah, like truly, like bravery is rewarded. And it is not, we definitely cannot find our courage and bravery and the audacity if we are stuck in this notion that we have to be perfect first before doing certain things. And yeah, it takes a lot of guts, especially in this day and age with, social media, where I feel like we are being fed just so much information that it's almost like a crime if we're not consuming. But truly, the power lies within us. The power lies within that spark within us that wants to be able to create something for ourselves. And so, yeah, I feel like audacity is where like our creative selves like really come out, because there's just like that trust that we know whatever happens, like whatever this experience is going to give us, wherever this action is going to take us, it will always be for our benefit, even though we end up with the unfavorable results. They will all just be like stepping stones to our greatest desires and all the biggest surprises that life has yet to surprise us with. So, yeah, there's so much to be said about just going for it and not even overthinking it. And yeah, doing it scared. I mean, I must say, like, even doing this podcast, it's still very new to me. It's so new to me to use my voice. But I know that it's choosing to have the audacity to show up anyway, even though I feel like I might be like fucking this up or that I'm stumbling. And of course, I will have my days where I might be thinking, oh no, like, why don't I have enough subscribers yet? Or why aren't there people actually listening to what I am saying? Or, like, why doesn't it seem like there's some sort of interest? Of course, I have those days. It's only human to still seek validation. And there's no point in, beating myself up for having those thoughts and emotions. But at the end of the day, I know that I will be okay. I know that I will be okay. And more than anything, living life to the fullest is being able to tap into that courage, which doesn't necessarily have to be like bold and loud. Sometimes audacity is also calm and peaceful and silent. Like, there is audacity in choosing to slow down in this world that glorifies hustle and grinding. There is audacity in choosing to rest when we know our bodies probably just need it instead of pushing through. Like, there is some sort of rebellion there. So audacity doesn't always have to be bold. Like, yes, I think sometimes, people think about audacity as like this big whole thing. But I know that for me, audacity can come from like something so small. It's not a scream, sometimes it's just a calm whisper. And yeah, just having like that small audacity and being able to tap into that, into our inner voice. Audacity is just really our inner voice and our souls speaking through us in this vessel that we are inhabiting. And yeah, I think, really just go for it. It's not supposed to be logical. I know for all of the things that I was courageous enough, those big things that I was able to achieve, more often than not, they did not make sense at all. But I still did it anyway, because I knew in my heart and in my soul that it's what I've always wanted to do. It's what my soul wants to align me with. And I know that there's something for me, and that there's something in these opportunities that are going to help me grow and expand and just open up opportunities for me. And yeah, I think, just learning that our minds are powerful. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't think about, strengthening our minds and our mindsets, but there's so much power that lies within our hearts and our souls and our intuition. And I truly believe that audacity comes from the heart and soul and intuition. It is not from logic. And yeah, I know that can sound mind-blowing. And on some days, I do not believe that. On some days, I feel like I still have to be led by logic. And you will have those days where the push and pull will exist. And I feel like there will never be a day where that won't exist, like even in like subtle ways. But ultimately, audacity is doing it anyway, just taking the action, taking the step, no matter how small, and just going for it, even if logic and even if fear is boiling within us. Because I don't think we'll ever be fearless in this life. Our human selves need our egos to protect us from the harm in the world. But it's just tapping into that inner voice, into our intuition, is what will help us have the audacity to live such a fulfilling life and to create the lives that we want for ourselves, to live our purpose. So if there's anything that I want to leave you guys with, it's to really have the courage and to choose audacity anyway. Even if that's a very calm calling, a peaceful and whisper right now, because again, audacity is pretty much like intuition too. Intuition doesn't really have to scream, because sometimes we could confuse that with anxiety, because anxiety is normally loud. But listen to those small whispers and get curious, be playful, and do it anyway. Follow through anyway, even when it doesn't make sense. Because when you get to the point where you've achieved great things already, where things start to come to fruition, you will realize that everything actually just brought you to where you currently are right now. And even though back then it did not make sense, it all worked out for you anyway. So, yeah, be brave and be bold. Have the audacity to show up, have the audacity to go after your dreams, because you never know. You never know. You do not have to overthink it. You do not have to be the most talented, the most hardworking person in the room. And especially if you're type A, you probably are already like hardworking, more hardworking than maybe a few people in the room who just have more guts to go, like to go after something just as big as the things that you are also desiring. And so, yeah, be brave. Be brave. Show up anyway. Show up alongside fear. And I promise it will be rewarding. And it only gets better. It only gets better. So, yeah, have the audacity. Have the audacity, because the universe truly rewards audacity and action, not perfection and not talent. Audacity allows you to show up as your most authentic self. And that is all that matters. That is all that life and the communities around you and the people around you who are looking up to you, who are witnessing your journey, want from you. It is your authenticity and audacity to just be your truest and fullest self. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and I hope to see you in the next one.